Oh, yeah, hey there. Get the hell out of here. So, do you think this is a good idea? For me to get wasted? Yes, certainly. Ever since the World War started, or the Cold Wars, we have been testing out these high-tech and high-end quality tanks to see if nothing happens to them. As you can see, the motorist of the tanks, like this, they're testing them to see if they could take any rugged terrain. And like me, for example, I know all about tanks personally. So why the fuck are you asking me for? And there was a guy who was walking by already, and another one checking out the quality of the tanks, and another one, probably Jews. Anyway, one tank is already going up the hill, and the other down the hill. So they're trying to test out the quality of these tanks to see if they're powerful and to see if they could take out any terrain. And now we have another one. It's gonna take down this entire barren wood fence or its mechanism. As you could see, it's gonna back up into the thing, and then to see if it'll take the damn thing down like it's supposed to be. Oh, we got one down. Another one. This is grand. And I wonder why we didn't have these since 2005. Because they discontinued it after a long time ago and they started making high quality, high durability tanks for the military. For the United States military and Canada and beyond. And now here comes the tanks right now. That one specifically being one. As the rough day started, we've been testing out other tanks like for speed, flexibility, and all terrain. And now this one's gonna crush. And now this one's gonna see if it could crush those wood planks. Oh, like hell, it didn't crush it, but except someone is exposing their wiener inside the tank. But yeah, who cares? Anyway, take 3. We're trying to test out to see if the tanks are going now. And now there's a tank over there, a very special one. Okay, it's gonna go over the railroad tracks, but they don't have any railroads because they were never invented in the 1900s. Only through the 1930s and the 40s, through World War I and World War II and the Color Wars. Anyway, this one's trying to see if it can go up the hill. It can't, but after a few more tries with the American Eagle and Uncle Sam, even the Canadian Prime Minister, it went over it and it almost hit that car. But who the hell cares? Anyway, this is we give you more information, by the way. More of these videos as I can stop speaking now. We got that song out of the way. It's time to see what the American people are doing and far beyond here in Canada today. And it looks like they're standing outside of a glass company building where they make fertile glass. I mean, one of them is holding the American flag. And you should know one thing: don't ever let the American flag touch the ground. It's the law. Don't let it touch the ground, you bastards. You're not supposed to let the American flag touch the ground. You're supposed to hold it up in the air so it can be facing up. And now we're in Detroit. We're live here in Detroit now. Sir Colonel, what is this? No, it's a plane. Oh my god, from the World War? Damn right it is. And meanwhile, they're having a meeting inside of the building. Shut up. Mister, can you tell us all about what's happening today? Maybe a bit of the economy right now, Forsaken? Why, I can't do that right now. And it's not my fault that that's the damn government's controlling us all. And hey, we can make everything better. Yeah, like what? How about we make Jeeps? What are Jeeps? I'll show you. Since the computing time of the economy and the government, all American Air Forces and armed ARGs are now marching down the street in any city across Canada and America. We see all these cars here. That's because the industry of the automobile is hard to be predicted. You have to keep them safe. You have to better protect them from all dangers at all will. And you see, everyone is taking these military tanks everywhere they go, and other enforcements. Well, it's part of the country, and in the greatest American automobile franchises like Chevrolet, GMC, Ford, Buick, and many more. They are struggling with the same problem. They had to work on making many cars. You see, they presented the Suburban and the Grand National. Not the Grand National, the Town and Country. Anyway, they're working on other cars and other ideas to be sculpting and making more vehicular bodies of cars so that everyone can get attention from them. They're using rulers, pencils, classic etch-a-sketches. They're proving of how to design cars better, but not this one specific automobile in the world. Jeep. Now, at first, Jeep was meant for the military, and it was used for the military, with the first model being the Jeep CJ7, the Jeep CJ or CJ7, or also the post office truck. It's been approved by the government. It's been approved by the American and Canadian governments, and it's part of the military companies too. It could go all over rugged terrain, all water, everything. Even the engine split. Even the engine spits out the water, and it could take down all terrain. You see the Jeeps bouncing. That's because the men are getting hard from being humped, kind of like you're humping a whore. Anyways, we're testing these Jeeps to see their durability, so it could get approved by the government, and we're gonna use them too for any of the speculations. We're using them up the hill, then down and fro, and hitting and running into fences, knocking them down. Whoa, you almost fell down, cadets. Anyways, we're gonna test it on this one grassy hill out there in Saskatchewan, Canada. The first process didn't go through, as the Jeep was trying to shake itself so it could go through the plants, and it's taking a little trailer. Okay, we're testing this one on a bridge in the state of New York, and we're gonna test it on a boat, and to see if we could take it across the Hudson River. And now we're gonna test it on a zip line to see if it could take it across the damn place. Anyways, the U.S. military and the Canadian military offensive companies are taking the Jeeps up in the air for aerial testing inside of the plane. And now we're taking the plane. We're flying the plane up there, and now we're loading the last Jeep back there, and we're getting them ready for the war. As you can see, all military cadets are getting ready for this day. That's been fine establishing. That's why Jeeps are the best machine that's ever happened to us. And it could go all the way, and it could go to all kinds of miles across land, across water, everything. But you have to be careful because they're fragile, and I know they're bouncy and shit, but you have to take care of them. But sometimes though, the gunmen in the military, they abuse the Jeeps by using the power, but it's how they're maintainedly used. Even the corporations have approved the Jeep to be part of the program, the military program. The Jeep CJ has been approved by the government once and for all, and now we're taking our cadets of militaries to brand new heights. We're testing it on water and on all kinds of terrain, like streams, rivers, by using tanks also. And we have never showed you about tanks. And then we're getting ready for launch, as we're starting up a new plan we're releasing the entire army of Jeeps out there in the deserts out there in the western United States, and for fighting, shooting down our enemies, the Germans. After Adolf Hitler was still in the percussion, he didn't even know nothing about the U.S. military or anything. It's just we know that he was around in the World War One. It's just we know that he was around World War One because he died in the 1940s, 1945. I don't know what year he died. We're gonna test these Jeeps now for medical aid, personal assistance, and assistance from others. As you can see, we turned them into boats also, and now we're testing these boat cars for the fury of the battle. We're taking them across the river now. As soon as all the automobiles of all the companies like Ford, Buick, and Chevrolet, General Motors, and Cadillac, have still trying to make vehicles better, but Jeep has outsmarted them by using the same ass model, the CJ, the Jeep CJ. Even the Jeep Corporation knows that too. That's why we have over hundreds around the country, and we're all using them around the worldwide, and for distributional market centers, also. Even President Wilson has a has even tested these cars out, and now we're making other ones with brand new stability and durability, and we're getting ready to export them by hand, and and in a century by storm. Here's the Jeeps. We're carefully launching on a boat, and now there's submarines of the military war, kind of like the ones that they have in Japan, that they're killing dolphins. That's messed up, man. That's offensive, and kind of like how the Japanese have bombed Pearl Harbor, but it doesn't show all of that here. We're just saying what happens in the military and stuff, of military life. And now we tested motorcycles also, and we already know they are already crappy. We're testing the Jeeps in Egypt to see if they're powerful. And now the colonel is speaking, and now he has approved the planes to be with the Jeeps. Out now to Tokyo. We're getting ready to deploy, and we're testing them on all four terrains. All rugged, watery, rainy, and cold and muddy. And now we're getting ready to get out there by driving these Jeeps out there into the wild. They all say goodbye to us, and now there's the American army right there. Even the U.S. president has tested these Jeeps too. And there's one man standing right there, or it's a voodoo doll. We don't know. But yeah. And now we have the military ceremony right there. Everyone standing there, and staying quiet through the entire holiday. Meanwhile, we're testing all these Jeeps out for their military style and rugged exploits. So now Jeeps are the best and they're powerful, okay. And now there's a bunch of people all standing there marching down from the on Fort Knox right now. As I can stop speaking, we'll put on this classic music so you can see the rest of the clips.
Arado's AR-234 was the world's first operational jet bomber. Its performance in the reconnaissance role in late 1944 and early 45 was to prove how right its builders were to christen their creation the Lightning, as it swept through Allied airspace with virtual impunity. Indeed, it was to satisfy a 1940 specification for a fast recce type that the 234 was designed. The prototype emerged in 1943 with high-mounted wings and a fuselage cross-section so slim as to preclude the fitting of a conventional undercarriage, the variant seen here being the later type. In the absence of a conventional retractable undercarriage, Arado had designed a three-wheeled trolley that would attach to the underside of the aircraft. This led to the ungainly and militarily unpractical process of raising the whole airframe on jacks and then lowering it bodily onto the trolley. In the early days of testing, the 234 took off with the trolley attached, as can be seen here. For the pilot bringing the 234 back to land on the trolley, the whole experience was decidedly unpleasant and very dangerous. The sink rate of the aircraft and the fairly high spring in the suspension of the trolley led to a very bumpy ride down the runway, with very little control being exercised through the brakes. By the end of the runway, the pilot has lost control and the aircraft pulls off onto the side and swerves onto the grass. The test aircraft was then flown once again, employing the trolley for takeoff. When takeoff speed was achieved, the pilot jettisoned his undercarriage. This in turn released a parachute to break the trolley's forward momentum and to stop it bouncing up and possibly hitting the aircraft in the underside. Trolley takeoffs were also made employing two Valter rocket pods for extra thrust. These gave an additional burst of power for some 30 seconds and allowed the 234 to make a much more rapid climb out, so avoiding any chance of collision on its underside by the trolley. Once in the air, the 234 demonstrates the turn of speed that made it so difficult for Allied fighters to intercept. While few could doubt the sparkling performance of the 234, its use of an under-fuselage skid and two smaller ones mounted under each engine when landing severely restricted its operational usage. It was thus accepted that the Arado 234 would need to be redesigned to enable the fuselage to accommodate a more conventional retractable undercarriage. The V8 model of the 234A was equipped with 4 UMO engines to serve as a testbed for the proposed 4-engine C model. This would have the same airframe as the B variant, but would mount 4 UMO engines. The 8th prototype of the AR-234 was also the first produced to the B specification. This was constructed with a slightly wider body that allowed a strong but narrow-track nose-wheel undercarriage to be fitted. Taking to the air for the first time on March 10, 1944, the 234B became the first production model, with deliveries to Sonderkommando Gotz taking place in September 1944. Aircraft from this unit were employed to fly over southern England. In the meantime, 2 of the earliest skid-equipped A models had already shown their worth by reconnoitring the Normandy bridgehead without interception. The bomber variant of the 234 first saw service with KG-76 in the Ardennes offensive and undertook abortive raids against the Remagen Bridge in early 1945. The bulk of the 274 built were B models. The Me-262 and the AR-234, in whatever variant, were 2 of the most remarkable aircraft to see service in the Second World War. When the Allies plundered the design offices of Germany's major aircraft companies, they found designs for a huge number of jet aircraft, many of whose features would find their way into the first generation of post-war jets.